The song was never meant to be finished. At least, that's what I told myself for years. It lived on an old phone, hidden between forgotten photos and voice notes, a place where time seemed to pause. I found it by accident on a quiet evening, when the house felt heavier than usual, when silence pressed against my ears. I had been looking for something else, maybe an old picture, maybe a distraction, and then I saw the file name. It was her name. Just her name. My sister's name. For a long moment, I didn't touch it. My finger hovered over the screen as if the sound inside could somehow escape and hurt me. She had been gone for 3 years by then, yet seeing her name still felt unreal, like the world had made a spelling mistake. I remembered the day she recorded it. She had been sitting on the edge of her bed, legs crossed, headphones slightly too big for her head. She told me she was working on something new, something personal. I told her I'd listen later. I always said later. I pressed play. At first, there was only a soft hum, the sound of a room breathing. Then her voice came in, gentle and unsure, like she was testing whether the world was listening. It wasn't polished. There were pauses, small mistakes, a quiet laugh when she forgot a line. And then the music stopped, suddenly, as if she had been interrupted. The song ended there, unfinished, hanging in the air. I sat on the floor with my back against the couch and listened again. And again. Each time, it felt like she was still here, just in the other room, still deciding what the next line should be. My sister had always been like that. Half dreamer, half afraid. She felt things deeply but spoke softly, as if worried her feelings might be too loud for others. When we were kids, she used to sing to herself when she thought no one was listening. In the kitchen, in the shower, while doing homework. If I walked in, she would stop immediately and tell me it was nothing. I used to tease her, tell her she should sing properly, for people. She would smile and shake her head. "It's not ready," she'd say. One day. That day never came. The night she left, the house was full of noise. Too many voices, too many questions, too many answers that didn't make sense. After that, everything became quiet in a way I didn't know how to handle. Her room stayed exactly the same. Her notebook lay open on her desk, pen resting on an unfinished sentence. Her headphones hung on the chair like she might come back for them any minute. For a long time, I avoided anything that reminded me of her music. It felt safer that way. If I didn't listen, I didn't have to accept that she was gone. But that unfinished song had been waiting patiently, like she knew I would eventually need it. As the song played, I started to notice the words more clearly. They weren't dramatic. They weren't sad in an obvious way. They were about small things. A window open at night. A street light flickering. The feeling of wanting to say something but not knowing how. It sounded like her. Completely her. I realized then that the song wasn't unfinished because she ran out of time. It was unfinished because she was still becoming. She was still figuring herself out, still learning how to turn feelings into sound. And maybe that's what made it so painful and so beautiful at the same time. I closed my eyes and imagined her sitting there again, tapping her fingers, thinking, humming softly. For the first time since she left, I didn't feel the need to rush away from the feeling. I let it stay. I let it hurt. That night, I didn't sleep. I listened to the song until the sky began to change color, until the world slowly reminded me that time still moved forward, even if part of me didn't want it to. By morning, I knew something had changed. The song wasn't just a memory anymore. It was a message. A few days later, I did something I never thought I would do. I opened her notebook. Page after page, I saw lyrics, crossed out lines, little notes in the margins. Some were silly. Some were sad. Some didn't make sense at all. And then I found it. A line that felt like it belonged to the song. It wasn't perfect, but it felt honest. I don't know much about music. She was the talented one, not me. But I tried. I sat in her room with the same headphones, the same phone, and I recorded my voice reading that one line. I added it to the end of her song. My voice sounded strange next to hers, heavier, less certain. But somehow, it fit. When I played it back, I cried for the first time in years. Not the quiet, careful crying I had trained myself to do, but real crying. The kind that shakes your chest and leaves you exhausted afterward. And when it was over, when the song finally reached an ending, I felt something close to peace. I didn't share the song with anyone at first. It felt too personal, like a conversation meant only for us. But slowly, I realized that maybe her voice deserved to be heard. Not because it was perfect, but because it was real. Because it carried a life that mattered. So I shared it. Quietly. No big announcement. Just the song. People didn't comment on the quality of the music. They talked about how it made them feel. About someone they missed. About words they never said. And that's when I understood something important. My sister didn't leave behind a finished song. She left behind a connection. A reminder that even unfinished things can still mean something. That even a voice cut short can continue to echo. Now, whenever I feel the house getting too quiet, I play the song. I don't wish anymore that it were different. I don't wish she had finished it. Because in its unfinished form, it tells the truth. Some goodbyes don't come with endings. Some stories don't close neatly. And some songs are meant to stop exactly where they do, leaving space for the listener to breathe, to remember, and to carry the rest forward on their own.